Hi everyone, my name is Rosemary, founder of TechAble Assistive Technology. People who have difficulty with organizing their thoughts for writing, inspiration can be a useful tool. Inspiration software can help people to brainstorm ideas, organize them, create an outline, and expand it into writing papers. The newest version of Inspiration, Inspiration 10, has just released in September 2020. So let me show you how to use it. So this is the Inspiration 10 icon, and let me open it. And when you open it, you can start with creating a diagram by click here. So this is like a creating a graphic organizer. And you can start from creating an outline or a map, which is like a mind map, creating a mind map. And also you can start from a template. So let me open template to just show what kind of templates Inspiration offer. So Inspiration provides over hundreds of templates that you can start with. So for example, if I look at this language art, there are templates for character comparison or like book comparison if you need to compare book, or let me open one of them. So let me open compare and contrast. So by using this template, I can brainstorm and list similarities and differences between two things which I like to write about. So topic goes there, and then two things that I like to compare, and then put similarities here, and then differences in different bubble. And so I can use this template to start brainstorming. And actually, let me go back and let me go to File, New. So in here, let's actually start from creating a diagram. So I'm going to open diagram, and then in here, I can put a like topic or main idea that I like to write about. So let me type computer access or use. So let's say I like to write about how to use computer, like computer access or computer use. And then I can brainstorm and I can throw ideas in here. So usually when I brainstorm and start to throwing an idea, I click this rapid fire button. And what it's gonna do is, okay, so to use computer, there will be input. And then if I type enter, it will put input into another bubble under my main topic, and then there will be output. So create a bubble that goes under the main topic, the computer access or computer use. Again, okay, so input, I click input and then click rapid fire again to just brainstorm and throw idea. So input, there will be keyboard and then enter, and mouse, enter. And then, like sometimes I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's connected to, this specific subtopic, or I don't know where to put it under. So in that case, what I can do is I can just click anywhere inside here, and then I can just type my idea. So voice. So this bubble, it's not connected to any of this topic or subtopic. Okay, so let's say output. I'm gonna turn on rapid fire again, and then output there will be monitor, enter, printer, enter, and then sound, enter. So I can see, okay, printer, sounds, and monitor can be an output of computer, and then mouse, keyboard will be input. Let me add just a few more under keyboard. So I'm gonna click keyboard and then rapid fire. So for the keyboard, there is standard keyboard, expanded keyboard. There is also, let me go down so you can see it. And then there is also mini keyboard, and then on-screen keyboard. So now you can see I can click and move around the bubbles. So this kinds of keyboard belongs to keyboard bubble. It goes under keyboard. So I used rapid fire, and then I threw idea that goes each of the topic or subtopics, and then I just threw some ideas. And then I can make color of any of this bubble to just organize or just see more clearly. So let's say, okay, I want to make this main topic with the green color. That's color that's different from the other subtopics or ideas. So I can just click the main topic, and then if you look under here, the bottom of the screen, there is fill color icon. So if I click, I can change the color. So let's say, okay, let me change the color to green. So now the main topic will be represented as a green, and then I can also change the color of subtopic. Let me change it to orange. Okay, so it's more easier to see the main topic and the subtopic that goes under. Okay, and then later I said, okay, I think this voice can be also fall under input, because like a voice dictation software, I dictate and then it still put words into a computer. So that's gonna be input. That's gonna be like a keyboard. So if I want to connect any of this bubble into another bubble, what I have to do is, so I click input first, and then there is this link button. So I click that, and then if I click voice, now voice goes under input. So now mouse, keyboard, and voice goes under input bubble. Okay, and then so I brainstorm and then create this bubbles, and if you look up here, there is arrange button. So you can arrange all your idea bubbles by different views. So let me actually click this downward arrow, and then currently the tree view is selected. So if I click, then you can see now the idea is arranged tree view. And then actually let me try the web view. So let me decrease the size so you can see it easily. So this is the it's arranged using web view, and then let's say split tree. And now this is the main idea, and then it splits the output to the left and input to the right. Okay, I like tree view, so let's change it to tree. Okay, and the other feature that I like to point out is there is the note button. This note is very useful feature. Let's say if you find a quote, or if you come up with a sentence that, okay, I want to include this idea or sentence that when I write a paper, I want to include it. So that case, instead of putting that into a bubble, you can put it into notes. So for example, okay, if I found this information that there are a couple different ways to select the key when you use on-screen keyboard. So after I click on-screen keyboard, I can click note button here. So now the note window that's linked to on-screen keyboard pops up. So in here, I can put that sentence. So the sentence is now linked to on-screen keyboard. There are a couple ways to select key on the on-screen keyboard, which are click on keys or hover over keys. So when I write a paper about computer access, use, and all that, I can also include this sentence to describe about on-screen keyboard. Okay, so I'm gonna close it. Even if I close it, you can still see there is a note attached to on-screen keyboard. That's the note symbol. Okay, so a note can be added to any of these bubbles, and then you can also put a hyperlink. So that's this button, hyperlink. So you can link a file or website, different things into hyperlink into any of this bubble again. So for example, let's say I have a book saved in a PDF file which explains various computer input method. So I want to link that book to this input bubble. So later, if I need information from the book, I can easily access to it. So the way you can link it is just click this input bubble, and then I'm gonna click hyperlink. And then I want to link a file. So I select file. And then down here, select file. It's here, the computer input PDF book. So I select that, and then if I click OK, now this input word is underlined. And then if I move my mouse to input, the mouse click icon change it to hand. So if I click input, now it open up that book which explain about various types of a computer input method. So I can read this book and then while I'm creating this outline. So the input is linked to that book. Okay. And you can also add a picture or a symbol to this organizer. So let's say if I want to add a picture of mini keyboard, which can help me to understand, okay, what's the mini keyboard? So to add a picture, I just need to click this bubble. And on the left-hand side, I can search keyboard, and then it's gonna search the clip art. So I can click picture of a keyboard and it's gonna put into the mini keyboard bubble. Or I can, under library, I can add my own picture, which I've already created and put it under my own library. So if I click that one, it shows the mini keyboard. So you can either use the clip art that's available in Inspiration, or you can add your own picture like it shows here. Okay. And as I create a diagram, Inspiration simultaneously creates an outline. So it creates an outline for all these ideas that I've thrown into. So if you look at the top of the screen, there is this outline button. So when I click this, as you can see, it displays outline view. And even in this view, I can, make a changes. I can still add, topic or subtopic. And you can also see the notes that I've added in the diagram. So you can see everything in here, but as an outline view. And then again, if you click this button diagram, now it switch back to the diagram view. So you can easily switch between the diagram view and the outline view by clicking this button. Okay. And then, so when I'm done with organizing my ideas, then I can transfer this diagram and the outline. So if you look at the icons in here, there is a transfer icon. So if I click, it asks, okay, I can transfer it to word processor document. Do you want to include the diagram? So if I click it, it will include the diagram. If I uncheck it, it will only transfer the outline. So let's say, okay, I want to include the diagram, and then click OK. Okay, it says before transferring, I need to save. So I'll click OK, and then I'll just say computer access use test. Okay, so now everything, including the diagram and the outline, is transferred to Microsoft Office. And here, you see the diagram is actually transferred as a picture. So later, if you don't need this diagram anymore, you can just select and hit delete button to delete it and just use the outline to expand it. So by using this outline with the notes that you included, you can expand into writing. Let me go back to Inspiration. And I can also export this diagram as a picture format. So let's see, under File, and then there is Export button. You can export this picture, this diagram or outline as a PDF file also. Let me click Export. And then in here, graphic file. And then you can export this as a graphic file such as JPEG or PNG. So only the diagram can be exported as a graphic file. I'm going to cancel. And then lastly, let me go back and then let's say File, New. And then let me briefly show how to use this map, which is like a mind map. So it's pretty similar. In the middle, I can type the central idea or topic. So I can put computer, access, or use. And then in here, on each of this branch, I can type the idea that can go under the main topic. So one branch, I can put input. The other one, I can put output. Okay. And then to brainstorm and expand the idea, again, I can use the rapid fire feature. So let's say, okay, input. So click input, rapid fire. And then I can say keyboard, enter, mouse, enter, voice, enter. So now these things can go under input. As you can see here, this small branch is attached to input. Or if you click this main branch, you see this plus symbol at the end of the branch. If you click this, the sub idea that's connected to output appears. So I can use this plus button to create the sub idea, and then here I can put monitor, and then again this plus button again, and printer. Then I can click it again, and sounds. So you can either use rapid fire or this plus symbol at the end of the branch. Same thing with the sub branch. If you click this, you can click the plus sign at plus symbol at the end of the sub branch, and then if I click, now it creates the branch that goes under mouse. Okay, so I can just click, and if I don't want that branch, then I can click and hit the delete button, same as the other branch. So I'm gonna click and delete those two. Okay, and I can also click and move around the branches to position it like that. And similar to the diagram view, if I want to add note, I can do same thing. I can click the topic that I like to add note, and then click this note button. So now the note that's connected to the link to the sub button, sub branch appear, and then in here I can put the notes. And again, on top of the screen, there is outline button. So while I'm creating this mind map inspiration, simultaneously create an outline. So if I click, you can see the outline of the mind map that I've created. And again, if I click map, it shows the map view. So you can switch between the outline view and map view by clicking this button. I've included the link to Inspiration website in the notes section of this video. So please go to their website if you want to learn more about the Inspiration software. Okay, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching.